Network Entertainment.
This is Now Steaming, where we dish out our hot takes as Tsinoy millennials. I'm Stancy, and with me as always are my co-hosts and collaborators. They are the co-creators of So Asian Comics, Kimberly Mas and Cedric Cheng.
Hey, Stan.
And this greeting should be basically for everyone, pero let's make it specific for Kim and for our guest. Happy International Women's Month.
Wow, it's so fast. It's March already. I can't believe it.
Oh, March na.
Bilis.
We're 2 weeks into March and we've got a very different topic, something we haven't really revisited on the podcast in quite some time. We're going to talk about representation for Tsinoy lesbian women. So we have someone on the podcast who knows a thing or two about fitting into both categories. These are buckets that don't get a lot of representation in mainstream media in general, diba? Outside of like the odd storyline in a teleserye. So we have...
And what more sa Tsinoy
Space.
right?
Yes, na napaka-restricting talaga, diba? So, in line with International Women's Month, we'd like to welcome our guest, DJ Cal Soesanto. Hi, Cal.
Hello, hi.
Take it away.
Hello.
Hi.
Let's come a bit closer to the mic so we can hear your dulcet tones.
Wow. Yan, okay na?
A little bit closer. There.
There you go.
So,
ASMR, let's go.
yun. So, Cal and I first connected years ago back when I was working at Mellow 94.7 because at the time we had this segment called Hyper Friday and we would connect with local club DJs and they would send like hours of mixes. So I remember seeing that name. Tapos to promote her, like I followed her on social and yun, we connected. But we didn't really start interacting until Now Steaming, until recently, diba? When the Alice Guo episode that we put out last year caught your eye.
Yeah, super. Like, it was like a very, how do I say this, unfiltered and very real conversation. You know, of course, and when you see these things in media, it's more like just laying down the cards. But with when I saw your podcast, it was very like, it was real. It was like punch per punch, like all the way in. I was like, that's it. That's what I want to know. That's what I want to hear, like the sentiments and the thoughts. And that's really great.
Bakit siya nag-stick out for you? Sorry, parang naging informal FGD siya. But like, I didn't know you were Tsinoy until you even replied to yung Instagram story about the Alice Guo clip. So that's how I found out that you were part of the community.
Okay, so your question is why it stuck,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I think it's because what I had to actually battle on almost daily basis na hindi nila alam yung difference ng Tsinoy sa mainland. Is that
sa GI, TDK, however you want to
Name
call it.
Wait, ano yun?
GI ba? Genuine Inchi. TDK, tayo ka.
Ano yung DDK?
TDK, tayo ka. Di ba tayo?
Tayo ka.
Yes.
TDK. Pero akala ko sound system kasi.
Also the sound system, yes.
Diba?
Because audiophile.
Now you have something to call them like kung nakita mo sila. Usually that's the case, yeah.
Meron pa nga iba mas worse na naririnig ko yung, I don't know if I'm allowed to say.
No, let's go
Okay.
there.
Okay. I think I know what it is.
Let's keep it to GI and
Dami ko kasi
TDK.
mga naririnig. So I'm like, I don't know, like, yun ba yun? Siyempre, ayoko naman tanongin, di ba? So,
New terminologies that we don't know about.
Okay.
So, yun, balik tayo sa question. Like, why did it stick out to you? What resonated with you?
Like I said, it was able to clearly emphasize the difference, no? Na parang, wait, magkaiba to. Na akala nila pag change the ticket as a general term, diba? So, iba yung mainlander sa tayo na Tsinoy, no? And people usually think, sila rin yun. It's like, no, not really. And it's nice that you guys get to talk about it. So it kind of clearly states the difference. And the points were very valid. Lalo na yung mga stereotypes na, yung mga Tsinoy, siguro mga nagsaside yun sa mga
pogo or whatever.
So there goes that. I'm sure you've heard of this over and over again. And ang hirap mag-explain, nakakapagod. Hindi iba eh.
So I didn't even know na yung nga, na Tsinoy ka until you responded. I even had to blatantly ask, right?
Yeah.
So it's not every day I come across Tsinoy in the club scene. Diba? Right. So let alone someone like you who spent quite a bit of time in that arena. So how does one even get there given na tayong mga Tsinoy, we don't really find ourselves in that space all that often.
Yeah, you're right. So how did I get to that?
To be a club DJ, yeah.
It just happened. Totoo, it just happened. Like, nag-start lang siya, na-fascinate ako sa nag-start yun sa mga head candy CDs lang.
The head candy series. Was this like the early 2000s?
I know, right?
Yeah.
Nagtatantad na ba edad natin?
Flashback rin ako eh.
I know
I
all
love
the
that.
artworks.
I love that, yeah.
Said, mag-maintenance meds ka na.
Oh, no, oh God. Along with Cafe Del Mar. No,
Cafe
anyway.
Del Mar. Diba? Yung mga ganyan. So, nag-start yun. Tapos parang my brain went to like, paano kaya pag minsan parang kinikritik ko like how does one song played to another. And then I wanted to like, dapat ganito siguro. Tapos ito yung next na song. Parang doon lang nag-spark na, wait a minute, what if I could do that?
Which makes me curious also, Cal. Like, what were you doing before you became like a radio DJ, club DJ?
Club DJ.
Yeah.
I was working for corporate. I worked for a luxury brand. And then I did consultancies. After no, nag-YOLO moment ako, nag-travel ako mag-isa. Tapos pagbalik ko, nag-start. Sabi ko, you know what, I'll just pick up a hobby and see where it goes. Nag-start ako mag-DJing school. Wala na. Tumuloy. Yun na. Tumuloy-tuloy na siya. And then it just went to places I never thought it would take me. It's parang tinuloy-tuloy ko na. Parang, okay.
Yung tipong you'll get to fly to out-of-town venues and you'll get to play in front of bigger crowds and you'll actually get paid actual money for that.
Oo. And then, you're happy doing it.
Yes.
You're happy doing it.
What was
It
your
gives
biggest
you-
gig?
Meron na akong na-play before sa Araneta Coliseum.
Wow.
Nice.
That's huge.
Pero pinaka-happy kong, like, for me, like, sobrang hindi ko siya bibitawan to this day is Puerto Galera.
What's so special about that one?
Yun lang yung set na nakaramdam ako ng takot sa sarili kong set.
Wow, okay.
Like, I got scared.
What does that mean?
Kasi so before you perform, usually kasi you plan it out. Like, you plan out your tracks, and then sometimes it becomes for me kasi I plan my sets down to a T. Like, when do I put this track in? How it's gonna feel from one track to another. So you're trying to play with the emotions of, well, hindi naman paglaro ni emotion. Wag naman ganon. Masakit yun. Pero,
May pinaghuhugutan.
oo eh. No, but, you know, the crowd is in your control.
Yeah.
And how you want to take it, it's yours. You're the captain.
Okay.
But it came to the point that even the safety becomes your responsibility.
Okay. So natakot ka kasi ano yun? Parang sobrang rowdy na? Feeling mo maaalog na yung stage? Or
Actually, naramdam ko umalag.
umalog yung stage literal? Okay.
Tapos nararamdam ko na umalag na rin. So, wait a
kagagawan mo
minute.
yun.
Tapos sa beach pa. So what if it gets too rowdy, may tubig dyan? Malay mo, yay!
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
Huwag naman sana may mangyari.
Ito, may question ako about DJing and controlling the emotions of the people who are enjoying the set. So I watched yung documentary about Avicii, yung I'm Tim, on Netflix. And there was
It's on my list. Okay, but
there was a part there where Avicii talks about how sometimes you need to know how to read the room. But you said that you plan your sets down to a T. So how can you balance reading the room and feeling like, okay, nandito na yung emotion nila or energy nila, but I really need to get to this track na?
So I have a habit of, like I said, I plan my sets down to a T. When I feel like it needs some adjusting, that's where I actually have index cards that I play because my brain works that way. Like, this one in, it comes in on here, it comes in, ganyan. But eventually, I have some moments where I had to, you know what, screw this. Bahala na. And that's when crowds go like, I'm like, okay, wait lang. Okay ka lang. So, nakikita mo mukha ng security, parang, help.
Do they look at you na parang help, ganyan?
Parang, I look at them. Like, it's one of the things that I do during the sets, especially if I tend to be hands-on. Since I'm close to the producers, I would tell them na, can you please put me in with the security briefing? Because I want that my sets also become, yung safety ng audience is also part of my responsibility. I think that would be, other performers would argue with that, na the safety of your audience is always a priority.
So you're not one of those DJs na, yeah, I want everyone to be fucked up.
Well, I kind of push it that way, but I mean, syempre, as fun as you can, pero iba yung safety eh.
Okay.
Iba na yung safety.
May push and pull.
May push and pull.
for
May
you.
push. But the moment na safety comes to play, parang, oops, medyo, wait.
Mag-eyeball na kayo ni CQ.
Parang, Kasi wait lang.
Did it come from like a personal experience, yung ganyan? Like may nangyari na ba
Or
before?
maybe you've witnessed it.
Or you've seen in other sets na may safety issues?
It's because probably I hear mga unfortunate events and I promised myself na if it's in my power, I will not let it happen.
Okay.
Na okay lang yung lasing ka, part na yun eh. Pero if it comes to the point na parang nag-overheat na or may away na, which nangyari na may away, I had to...
Kill the set?
I literally had to kill the set.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Even though the crowd was so amped up.
Yeah.
So I had to kill the set, but made sure they were still amped up.
Okay.
So it was an exchange of energy with the crowd. So I had to pull it down. I was like, is everyone having fucking fun? And they're all like, yeah!
So ikaw din yung nag-hype man.
Oh, so parang, okay, so we're here for good vibes, right? So what the fuck are you two doing? Get the fuck out of my...
Wow.
That is cool. That's cool. Sorry.
That's some boss lady shit.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
so everyone's like, yeah! I was like, let's motherfucking do this.
On that note, the energy, right? When I first learned how to spin, one of the things that fascinated me about EDM is how it, for lack of a better way to explain it, simulates the experience of a high, chemically induced high, aka drugs. So, how do you do that for people who are teetotalers or who don't partake in drugs?
There is a certain euphoria with music that it does. I've tried, not drugs, I'm clean. I've never taken, by the way, that's a little trivia, ever. In my entire career, wala. There's a certain thing that they say na parang frequency or octave, there's a science to it.
Yes.
Like some sort of psychology.
Yes.
Na if it's at a certain range, it affects like how the brain works and also like yung sa beats per minute.
Yes.
It influences your heart rate.
Okay.
So may euphoria, ano siya parang, how do you say, it's simulated euphoria. Some sort of, parang ganon.
Interesting. I love how it's actually corroborated na by an actual club DJ because, naturo siya sa akin pero nung una kala ko, still lang to binabarbero ako nito.
No. So parang yung usually, yung one of the most underestimated and the ones that I respect so much are the opening set DJs. So you have to have this sort of discipline and restraint to keep it low but going up, but not there.
Not too high.
So people are like, yeah, okay, I'm happy. Ganon lang. Hindi siya yung, So
Because you don't want to tire them out, diba? For
you want
headliner.
you want to warm them up. Yeah.
So, in the scene, marami bang Tsinoys or are you like a one of one?
You mean like sa DJ?
Yeah.
I know there are a few. I actually wanted to get him in here kasi amazing. This guy's a fucking legend. Like mentor levels ko na. Like for me, he's like almost like a mentor to me na rin. There's probably bilang sa kamay.
Yeah, like aside from you, ang naiisip ko na actually is Katsi Lee. Kasi kasabayan ko siya Yeah, she's like one batch higher sa akin sa Ika.
That girl is badass.
Yes. So, parang, again, not every day that you hear, no, na parang there's someone from the Tsinoy community who is a club DJ. But have you ever gotten to talk about you being part of this Venn diagram, like on any platform or like with your friends or on social media?
Because I've seen you had some interviews with, say, a couple of media outlets, yung mga Noli Soli and all of that. Have you ever dived into it? Kahit a little bit? Never. So this is the first time?
Yeah, this is the first time. Na tipong pag nakita ko yung questions kami, I'm like, how the F am I gonna answer this? This is like a first time na usually because it's about what you do, what you are, so whatever.
But never with no music questions.
Never ako, alam mo yun. Parang, I'm important. The joke lang. I matter.
Every story matters. Diba?
Right?
So, okay. Transitioning into your story, being Tsinoy and navigating this space. How did your parents react when they found out na you were not only taking DJ classes, but you were actually diving headfirst into this world?
And I have to add, I also thought.
Oh, okay.
Nagturo din ako.
Like in formal school.
Like as in may DJing school.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Okay.
So, yeah. So I also thought as well.
So what was their reaction when they found out na, ingat, this is your career now?
Tinago ko sa kanila.
Bakit?
Isisingit ko sana kasi diba usually sinasabi sa ganyan, hindi, hobby lang yan. I don't know if you ever got that.
Yeah. Tinago ko sa kanila. Tinago ko sa kanila.
For how long?
As far as I know that I can, until I started getting gigs na tipong medyo, dati kasi mga club dito for the night. And then it started getting like mga poster levels na.
Yes.
Tapos pinaka-happy moment ko, pinicturean ko pa yun yung baduy ko eh. Hinintay ko pa dun sa Cove, Manila. Lumabas yung digital ko. Yung
sa
picture.
LED.
Yes, sabi ko, Mom, look, I'm famous. Actually, Dad, look, I'm famous. They're like,
Yeah.
thanks. Tinago ko talaga. Until yun na, hindi na talaga matago kasi I was like, there are some times it usually happens on weekends. I usually meet my parents over the weekend. Ma, pa, hindi ako makabalik ng Maynila. Sorry. Babawi po sa inyo. Oh, why? Sabi ko, kasi I have a... Medyo parang may idea na sila kasi I have a gig, ganyan. They're like, okay, ingat. I'm like, thanks, parents. Love you.
You didn't feel naman na parang there was like, I don't know if you have siblings or not, but did you feel like parang may black sheep energy because you were diving into this world?
Oh man, I've always been the black sheep. Ever since. Kasi, hello, Tsinoy ka na ka. And then yung sa stereotype, I don't know if it's a stereotype. Like, ano yung dapat mong line of profession.
Yeah.
Yeah, stereotype totally.
Yeah.
Diba? Tapos, on top of that, my identity. Diba? So, trifecta pre. Trifecta yun. Pero, they were thinking na, for the meantime lang yan. Which, medyo masakit siya nung una. Pero nung after a while, parang, they're like, oh sige, go. And then pandemic, the biggest showstopper of them all, nawala. So, nag-stop ako. So, medyo nagganong-ganon ako siyang gagawin ko. Sabi ng parents ko, okay. So, find your purpose. I'm like, oh my God, who am I now? So, parang they're supportive naman, pero hindi as outright. Kasi nakikita naman na I'm doing okay naman with it. Pero syempre, you know how parents are, nako, yung mga elements na nandyan. Yung sa gabi yan, masamang elemento.
Bilangin mo, di ba? Yung creepy people, the drugs, the alcohol.
Yeah.
Diba? So, parang for them stereotype, lahat ng nandun, mamasasama. Diba? Pero hindi naman kasi ganun yun eh. So, sabi ko, hindi naman ako just playing music.
Yes.
Diba? So I had to tell her how it works, na kumalma, para medyo okay. Alam naman nila na hindi naman ako gagawa ng anything stupid. So, okay.
You mentioned yung the pagka-reserved ng parents natin. Yung generation kasi ng parents natin, di ba, they won't outrightly express na I support what you're doing or I'm proud of you. I'm assuming from your story na ganun din yung experience mo, no? So, how do you reconcile that? Na parang, we all know that to varying degrees, our parents love and support us, but they just have a difficult time expressing it.
Yes. Sobra. They actually have a difficult time expressing it. Even like, but then on the side, kasi nung medyo na, I decided to take a step back from DJing. I decided to put up a business. Yun, medyo sila doon, okay.
Siyempre, business na
business yan.
Yan na. Happy na happy sila.
Negosyo na.
Parang, negosyo na. Na-excite sila doon, kahit maliit man na negosyo. So it was good. And the timing was actually pretty perfect because nung nag-pandemic, nag-full swing yung business.
And it's still going strong right now.
Yes, it's still in operation right now. Actually, nung pandemic, hindi ko akalain na this is my personal business, which is water. So, nung una, nag-supply sa clubs, nag-supply sa gyms, ganyan. But then pandemic, anong gagawin mo? Kanino ka magsusupply? Diba? Nag-shift siya, biglang water for alcohol production ng pandemic, diba? Tapos yung mga water for medical facilities, you're helping them transport din, mga goods, because there were like, all of a sudden, I believe even alcohol, like the drinking alcohol, had to shift their production over to the sanitizing alcohol. Ganon. It included, water was part of it. So it went well. I mean, it wasn't like awesomely great, but it survived. And I didn't want yung mga kasama ko sa business or yung mga, I don't like the term tauhan, but I don't want the team to lose their jobs, especially in a time like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's get into your background as a Tsinoy. Growing up, we always ask this question sa mga guests namin on the pod. Like, how Tsinoy were you raised? Like, did you really follow all of the traditions na nakasanayan? Red pag birthday, white pag may namatay.
Oh my.
Mangsing osha.
Honestly, siya, klowa ko nga. Super, like, hella. Like, hella Tsinoy. Ano ba, January, February, Chinese New Year, dapat naka-red.
Yeah.
So, ayoko talaga mag-red. Ayoko talaga. Kasi ang puti ko eh. There's an awkwardness to it. Parang ang puti-puti.
Does it fit your skin tone?
Yeah, there's a better, maroon.
Okay.
Red.
Inline pa rin naman.
But did they ever say anything about, like, let's say you wearing black? Kasi ako personally, I like wearing black also.
Di ba? Eventually, natanggap na nila. Pero pag let's say, may compromise yun. Pag birthday ng ganyan or pag Chinese New Year, sige na nga. So meron akong black shirts, pero may isang shirt lang ako na
Maroon.
hindi na red. Maroon.
And you'll bust that out for
Yun lang. Special occasion.
It's the special shirt.
The
Buti na lang
special
walang
shirt.
print kasi pag may print, alam mo, it's always the same shirt.
Actually, ano lang
Plain-
siya.
plain
Plain
shirt.
lang
Yeah,
siya.
yeah.
Oo, na may color in case na kailangan na medyo color para medyo
Formal.
Presentable.
Yeah, presentable.
It's an all-in-one
sir.
red shirt.
Yes, sir. That is exactly. So if you need to have a color, sige na nga, ito na nga. Color na.
I love it. It's an all-in-one red shirt.
Oh,
Pag may kailangan ka.
Maroon.
Maroon pala.
Emphasize natin maroon.
Maroon.
Emphasize natin.
All-in-one maroon shirt.
Na sabihin mo, red pa rin.
Oo. It's still in the same, ano yun?
Same hue.
Hue, yeah.
Were you one of those kids from our generation na hindi kinakausap ng elders kapag hindi Hokkien yung gamit mo?
Hindi naman. Kaya rin naman English kahit medyo hirap sila. Pero syempre, I'm a nice person, so mag-adjust pa lang sa kanila.
So your
Hindi ko
Hokkien
sila
section,
papahirapan.
Conversant ka in Hokkien?
Yes, kaya.
Fluent. Wow.
Kaya.
See, I figured when you were already like putting out Hokkien, tapos tinatranslate, sabi ko, feel ko kahit papano fluent.
Kaya.
So do you use it at home? I'm curious.
Yes.
With your parents?
Yes.
Straight Hokkien?
Straight,
Na may
kaya.
konting Tagalog, English.
Minsan,
Okay.
Medyo multilingual po yung bahay namin.
Was it like, for your parents, were they super strict when you were growing up? Let's say, yung other relatives mo, tinatry nila mag-English, but were your parents like, they really spoke to you in Hokkien?
Yung mom ko, siya yung mas nag-Hokkien. Mas nag-Hokkien sa them. Using Hokkien. And then sa dad ko, minsan nagko-code switch kami. Like, I mean, when I say code switch, parang, okay, we need to talk about something na kami lang dalawa nakakaintindi. So, time capsule talk kami, ganyan. So, nag-switch to Hokkien. Tapos, pero pag on a regular basis, Tagalog and English.
Were you also raised up to be, well, ako kasi personal experience. So, were you raised up to be that traditional Tsinoy housewife or traditional Tsinoy?
Expectations.
Yung expected mo na, okay.
I'm sure you know.
I know. Natawa siya. So, I think you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yan. Oh, yung bata pa, di ba? Hello, I like women. I love women. Oh, wala ka pang hoe. Parang, sige na nga, out of expectations, magde-date na lang ako ng guy. I mean, no offense.
No,
I
I get you.
Yeah.
We're technically on the same team here.
Don't worry.
Diba? So, sabi ko, hindi talaga. Hindi talaga. So, ang hirap na yun yung expectation mo na dapat may boyfriend or dapat, minsan pa nga, parang hindi lang boyfriend, dapat boyfriend. Tapos,
Tsinoy pa. Yeah.
Yun, I was
Of
gonna
course,
bring
the
that
Great
up.
Wall.
I was just waiting for you to fire on it. I was like, come at me. So, yes, ganon. I'm like, di talaga.
How early did you know na you like women?
Bata pa lang.
Oh.
Gusto ko Power Rangers. Ayoko ng Barbie.
So were you a Pink Ranger girl or a Yellow Ranger girl?
Black Ranger.
Yes,
Black
embodying
Ranger
that.
girl. Si Green Ranger, di ba? Kasi angas-angas niya eh.
So, as a kid, like you never had a crush na guy at all. Kung gano'n, like how did you like reconcile the idea na they wanted you to date men, but you knew deep inside, diba, na you like women?
Wala talaga. Hindi ko, ayoko magpaasa. Sana all, di ba, hindi nagpapaasa.
Ay. Whoa. Whoa.
Ayoko magpaasa. And then eventually my dad was like, alam mo, mas okay na lang na mahalin mo ang taong mahal mo kaysa pilitin mong mahalin dahil yun yung dapat mong mahalin.
How
Wait,
did,
so that
how did
came
he
from your dad?
notice?
How did that happen?
I know,
How
right?
did he notice? Diba? Like, these are personal things.
Siguro kasi sa galaw ko, no? I mean, hindi naman ako yung...
Yeah.
Hindi naman ako... I have that brusco in me pa rin, kahit pa paano. And so... okay. So, okay na. Parang didn't talk about it, but we kind of got it.
Okay.
Okay.
Question.
Sige, go ahead.
Question though.
Yes, yes.
Even if, right, you're lesbian and all that, required pa rin ba na Tsinoy yung partner mo?
Ayun, same yung tatanungin
Alam
namin.
mo, ang ganda nun. Hindi.
Hindi.
Oh.
So, tinanggal na yung Great Wall for you because
I
you're
know,
lesbian.
right?
So yun lang pala yun.
Pero yung siblings mo, may Great Wall.
Alay, unik ka iho-iho ako eh.
Oh.
Mulan. Mulan, guys. Mulan. You know, modern day Mulan. Yeah.
So because because they understand na the dating pool becomes infinitely smaller because
Grabe, ang hirap.
mahirap, diba, kapag may Great Wall.
Oo.
Yeah.
Sobra.
But this was not something that you guys ever talked about.
No. No. Parang they were always sort of curious kung meron ba akong girlfriend. Ganun.
But have you ever brought anyone home, and what was the reaction to to your partner?
Meron naman. Kasi parang we were gonna go out for dinner, gano'n. Tapos okay naman sa kanila. Kasi ayun nga, I think my dad kind of just ended that Great Wall thing na parang whoever you want to be with, basta alagaan ka niya. I was like, ang touching naman eh. Tapos alagaan ka niya. And willing to protect you and of course the family as well. Then, okay.
Has it ever gotten to a point where your parents built a relationship now with a girlfriend or with a partner? Kasi diba, parang that's how you know na nakuha na nila yung amor ng parents mo.
Oo. Meron. And okay pa rin. Okay pa naman din yung relationship to this day.
How does that feel, diba? Kasi yun nga, parang it comes from such a tricky space, diba? Tricky situation.
Sobrang tricky kasi let's say you're with someone tas makikilala. Tas syempre alam na ng parents mo na kayo. And then biglang mamimit and ito yung friend niya. Like, ouch. Ow.
Ganun pa rin yung ano nila.
Oo,
Ganun
so
yung language.
I think andun yung acceptance pero hindi pa ready na out there.
Yeah.
I guess kasi,
It's actually quite
nosy.
common.
Like you said,
Yeah.
it will raise so many new
Yes.
questions. I totally get it. It's not easy. This is why I choose to keep my private life private.
Right.
Oo, kasi
High five.
ang hirap eh. Pag ang daming involved. It's-
And they want to meddle with,
And I'm
your
sure,
relationship or what.
like your parents, if they would elaborate on it, ang daming questions bigla from their relatives.
So I kind of understood where that was
Yeah.
coming from. Pero ako din, I also kind of keep it na lang
Yes.
na hindi ganun hindi publicized. Ganun.
Curious also, like, since you always mention na it's your dad na has your mom ever said anything, or parang siya, one comment for both parents na yun?
Hindi, magkaiba.
Magkaiba yung nila.
Pero syempre hindi ko sila lalaglag, mag-aaway yun.
Oh, yeah.
Huwag na, mag-guide sila auntie uncle. Okay, in a previous episode that we had, sometime last year, we talked to Ansis C, who is also a Tsinoy entertainer. He's also gay, and he shared a story about how he can't bring yung partner niya dun sa mga gatherings with ama, angkong, and the cousins. Kasi wala, parang it's strange, ang daming questions, etc.
Yes,
Is that
yes.
also your experience?
Sometimes yes, sometimes no.
Okay.
I still try to keep those events separate pa rin. Kasi, although it's nice na tanggap nila or whatever, diba? Pero, iba pa rin eh. So, I try to keep that apart muna. Although my parents are kind to treat na as part of the tribe. Diba? Oh, it's very nice. It's very nice.
How does your partner take it? Kasi I'm sure na you do it with the intent of protecting her din, di ba? Syempre, you want to shield them from the questions and all of the possible
scrutinizing.
scrutiny. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Scrutiny. The scrutiny is terrifying.
Yeah.
Diba?
It is.
Or you might think, what does she do? What family is she from? What ganyan. I've seen all of that. And even not just with myself. Ganyan. So you're asking is how I had to deal with that?
How does she feel about it?
Okay naman. Like, okay. Curious. Ganyan. So okay lang. Okay naman.
Eto, curious din ako. Since, when you go into like a family gathering, right? Usually parang, kung yara hindi Tsinoy, binibrief mo pa, ito yung table etiquette, blah, blah, blah. Did you ever do that with your partner? Parang ganun. Binibrief mo muna what a Tsinoy family is like.
Yeah, parang heads up lang.
Heads up, ganito.
Don't grab the food. Paunahan. Diba? I think na observe. Nandun siya sa observation mode. So
Does it ever feel like, kasi di ba galing tayo sa Tsinoy community and if you're dating someone from outside of it, na you have to like really give them the primer on like Tsinoy customs or what is acceptable versus inappropriate, etc. Meron bang ganun?
I think it's more of like as we go along, we'll learn. Ganon. No, it's ganon. Walang primer, ganon. I guess yung experience din kasi, no, na being exposed to different cultures. So you know like, okay, let that one take the lead and we'll learn, ganon. So it was learning on all sides.
It's actually smoother kasi like from my experience in a cishet relationship, I dated someone before who is not Chinese and I had to really guide her through, even the most basic things like please don't wear black. Kasi, ganito, ganyan, that type of stuff. So to hear from you, especially since sabi mo nga na parang the Great Wall was taken down when there was a mutual understanding about your identity. So parang you didn't feel that same pressure to like have to brief them with everything.
Mas madali talaga. Or yung for example, actually may coming out story pa nga yan eh. Coming out. Basta we were having a long conversation. Ikaw, is there anything you wanna let us know? Sabi ng parents. Sabi ko, I like women. Sabi niya, tagal na namin alam yun. That was easy. Wala anak! Bakit? Wala ganon. Alam na namin. I was like, nagtago pa ako.
Adult ka na nun?
Tago.
When that happened? Or were you in school pa?
College. University college. Yeah. Diba? Parang, is there anything you want to tell us? I like women. Tagal na namin alam. Nagtago pa ako. Tagal-tagal akong magtago. Kainis. Hirap pa ako.
It's actually a refreshing story.
Yeah.
Like, none of the drama.
Ang bilis. Parang, done.
Okay.
Yun na yun. Okay.
Wala pang 5
Yun
minutes.
nga eh. Parang dun ko lang na-realize na parang, I realized na just now by saying that how different this would be.
Sorry, I want to backtrack a little bit here. Since you mentioned you went to a Tsinoy school, did you ever feel like you were, alone, or parang how did you deal with that sa identity mo? Because I went to an all-girls school and have really close friends who are either they're bi or they're lesbian. Parang they always told me na they felt alone, and I only found out about this very recently lang din. So did you ever feel that when you went to high school?
Parang may disconnect.
May disconnect sa mga fellow Chinoys na classmates mo?
Hells yeah. Sobra. Like, syempre, dapat si ganito at si ganyan. Syempre, yung mga high school.
Mga love team.
Love team, yeah.
Yan.
I also heard na yung prom in your school was like, parang pinapair talaga, di ba? Tama ba ako? Or I don't know if that was the case in your time.
Yata eh. Hindi ko rin maalala. Binlock ko yun sa memory.
Binlock mo na.
Binlock ko yun sa memory ko. So parang, I think yes, there was some pairing happening at or baka hindi. Hindi ko na maalala. So binlock ko lang talaga. But it was like a huge thing. Ako naman gusto ko na umuwi. Bakit pag ganito yung suot kong damit?
But how did you find a sense of community, I guess, in such a restrictive community? Kasi diba tayo mga Tsinoy, we were raised to like not talk about this stuff.
Yeah.
And then in the early 2000s, this type of stuff was not talked about the way it is right now.
Yeah.
So how did you like find your tribe at the time?
Here's the thing. I believe I told you this earlier na medyo nomadic ako. So, if you ask me if I actually have a tribe na Tsinoy, wala. Lone wolf. Kung saan-saan lang. I mean, I have a group of friends na ganito. Very closed circle na friends talaga. Siguro as you go along, eventually, lumiliit lang talaga
Yes.
yung circle. Yung talagang quality over quantity. So, I never really based it off if it was Tsinoy or not.
Yes.
Wala akong ganun. Hindi ko talaga alam bakit. Hindi ko ma-explain. But I do see na may ganon pa rin.
Yeah.
Na Tsinoy na community, squad. May ganon din ako na nakikita.
I guess na curious lang din ako because nag-resonate sa akin yung sinabi ni Kim. I went to Xavier, she went to Ika. So, di ba, having these gender-exclusive schools, matik pag LGBT ka, outsider ka.
Oo.
So, how bad did it feel for you? Or did anyone proactively make you feel that way?
Because I never really confirmed or denied my identity. Yeah. So it was like, so may barkada ganon.
Yes.
Pero okay lang. Pero it wasn't. I still didn't make it like a close relationship. Parang okay, hi, hang out together. Pero yung degree of closeness, medyo reserved ako. Medyo reserved ako. Kasi hardcore yung medyo parang may stereotype before. So I'm like, it is a little bit lonely. It is a little bit lonely.
Did it help na you went to a co-ed school? Kasi I'm sure mas isolating for our peers who were in Xavier and Ika. Diba? Did it help na you went to a co-ed school?
I think so, yes. It did help kasi mas diverse. I guess the diversity did help out a little more. Ganon. But I'm not sure how Ansis would react. No, kung how he dealt with it either. No, so that's the other side of
Right.
the LGBT. This is a more interesting way to see it. No, like good Ansis on board this. So it was.
Lalo na same school pa kayo.
I know, right? Tapos parang mas fun siguro kasi co-ed. And then you could actually see how there are different mindsets for different people. So makikita mo yung mga iba, tanggap ka naman. Yung mga iba, okay lang, open-minded. Yung mga iba parang, I do recall na parang merong ilap, gano'n. Meron din. And sometimes you just have to keep going with that. Okay lang.
Kasi sa school namin, I have to like interject a little bit here. It was so restrictive na all of the girls had to have long hair. So hindi pwede short hair.
Okay.
Anything na boycott because I had like a couple of batchmates who had boycotts. So parang sinasabihan talaga sila, bawal yan, kailangan long hair, ganun. So was there anything like that
Wala
implemented?
naman.
Expected
Wala
gender
naman.
roles?
Wala naman. Kasi ako naman, long hair naman ako ever since. Parang mas pinag-initan yata yung kulay ng hair ko kasi hindi siya black na black. So kala nila hair color. Parang ano ba?
Natural na brown.
Natural brown to.
Oo nga. Bakit mo pinag-iinitan yung hair color? Kasi parang yun yung mas naging topic na parang hair color. No, this is my natural hair color. Yun lang. Short hair, long hair, wala namang issue.
Growing up, did you ever feel like there were roles in the family or like roles in, say, a family business that you felt na shoehorned para sa'yo because you're a woman? And then, when your parents began to feel na, oh, okay, so she is a lesbian. Parang did you feel na may nag-iba ba doon sa pananaw na yun?
Wala naman nagbago. I'm trying to recall. My mom, siyempre yung simula, bata pa, ganito mag-fry ng egg. Yung mga typical, ganyan. Actually, I learned all the chores. Hindi dahil sa pandemic ako natuto sa mga talagang hardcore chores talaga. Expectations, oh man, those are heavy expectations. So yung syempre, yung mga family business, yung mga stuff like that. Parang eventually, of course, I want to learn. Learning for me is infinite. I keep learning. So yung course ko was related to management because I wanted to build my own business as well. Ano ba? Parang may time din na sinabi ng parents ko na you are free to do whatever you like as long as hindi masama at may contribution sa society.
Which is actually not a bad thing when you think about it. It's not like you can't do this kasi babae ka.
No naman. Actually, mas baliktad nga mas challenging pa yung arena kasi sa household. Mas challenging siya. Siyempre may konting resistance, but after a while, they're like, okay.
Yeah.
Wala namang mga lines na, oh, hindi ka marunong magluto, hindi ka na pwede you can't get married, or hindi ka marunong maglinis. Wala at all.
Wala naman. I sort of figured these things out all by myself the past. Before kasi parang, I think nung pandemic was like the tipping point of everything. Before kasi parang, you have someone cook for you, you can ask food to get delivered, ganyan. Tapos nung medyo during the pandemic, parang, take out ako ng take out, grab ako ng grab. So I learned on my own. Tapos nawala ako for a year. Like totally no social media, no nothing. Mm-hmm. And then I started prepping my own food, started working out, ganyan. Inayos ko yung sarili ko, inayos ko yung buhay ko, did my own Talagang
Became an adult.
I'm sorry?
You became an adult.
Correct. Exactly. The pandemic made that
I
shit.
wanted to ask, like you've mentioned earlier now, you had these like little pockets of your groups, your squads, right? So does this include, let's say, of course, the people you've met in your DJ career, and also I met you in the Uniqlo photo shoot with under Litas Manila, right?
Yes,
so it's a club for women motorcycle riders.
I have to quickly step in and correct that. We are not a club.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's actually more of a collective kasi pag club, it's like...
Exclusive.
No, a biker gang.
Biker gang. Okay. Sorry.
So
When you
I
say
had
clubs and motorcycles, yung connotation is biker gang.
So I had to
which
immediately...
exists here.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So I had to immediately step in and...
So wala silang vest, hindi sila
Not your fault.
Sorry.
No. It's not your
It's a
fault.
collective.
TIL rin
Hindi
naman.
sila Southside Serpents like in Riverdale or in Sons of Anarchy.
Mismo. Yon. So may mga ganon. No, Litas Manila is not a club. It's a collective.
So, okay, what does the Litas Manila do for the uninitiated?
We actually, I actually have them join our rides. We're more selective kasi I want to take care of the synergy of the people, of what the existing members, and then over time I would occasionally invite just to see if it works, if it's vibing, if it's vibing. And then I also believe in slowly upskilling, promoting that upskilling. So actually, if I may plug it in, this weekend, we are going to Batangas for Harley Davidson and Litas Manila na Motor Clyde skilled rider training. So it's like some people know how to ride already, but this will help put them in like a more solid footing as well.
I like hearing about this kasi, when you talk about mga motorcycles or cars, which you're into as well, diba?
Yes.
These are traditionally and stereotypically masculine
Oh my God, yes.
hobbies, masculine interests.
Every day. Oh my
Diba?
God.
So, what's it like trying to carve out this space, not only for yourself, but for other women, regardless of sexuality and identity?
How? You mean like...
What's it like?
Oh man.
Like, mahirap ba siya? Or
Oh, man.
Mahirap bang makahanap na ibang tao, ibang babae na gusto ring sumali sa mga rides nyo or sa collective?
Yes and no at the same time. It's difficult kasi why? I think the proper question would be why you're doing this. So if you ask me like why am I doing this? Honestly, I'm just doing it because I want to ride and decompress. It's my way of decompressing, riding.
It's therapeutic.
Thank you. For others, kasi it's really their like thing, diba? But it's hard to find then na you have to filter out people on the same wavelength as you. And there's no fault to that pa magkaiba tayo ng wavelength. Kasi that's the path that you chose and this is the path that I chose. Siguro maganda rin yung idea na you teach them like it's more chill and more relaxed. Ganon. So it's a very different thing.
So how did you get into, like, you mentioned, right, when it comes to DJing, you got the head candy and all that. But when it comes to motorcycles, what was your introduction to it?
I like this. Nag-start yan kasi nung mga early teens pa lang ako, scooter. Yan. Yung mga,
Vespa ba
I
yan?
started the wrong way. Hindi. Social na yung Vespa. mahal na yun. nag-start ako with mga scooters. Nagka-trauma ako. So, I had an accident. Nag-snap yung collarbone ko.
Oh.
Yeah. And then, years later, nasa States ako. I stayed in the States for a while. And then, I had my training with Harley Davidson there. And nagkaroon sila ng program like ganun din, motorcycle safety training. Which is apparently a prerequisite to their getting the license. So you have to go through the training to get your license, which is amazing. Diba? Ayan, alam mo na. So, kamote. Okay, let's go back to the States. And so, yeah, nakapag-ride ako doon. It's so different kasi, people respect the riders. They also mas namimigay. And of course, the infrastructure is nice. So when I came back, mag-ride ako, I'm like, oh my God, parang zero ako dito. Ano to?
Yeah.
It's different environment.
Definitely.
Scooters talagang gigit-gitin ka. Walang sense of space. So it's a completely different avenue altogether.
Was there ever any backlash from yung like other riders, lalo na yung mga groups na puro lalaki lang na parang, hindi, turf namin to or whatever? Like, what are you women doing here? That type of stuff.
Wala naman.
Okay.
Wala naman. I'm trying to recall kung meron. Wala naman.
Kasi like ako, whenever I see groups of riders, of yung mga nagbabike, usually it's men, diba?
Yeah, it's mostly men. It's mostly men. It's
so like,
mostly men.
I think Litas is the first group I've ever seen na puro female riders.
Yes. I think we started at 2017, no earlier days na kaka-start pa lang ng motorcycle industry. It started out by Gaki Moto. Mm-hmm. Yes. So I met her. Tas biglang, hey, you wanna ride? I don't even know her. We don't even know each other personally. We just bumped like, hi, I'm ganyan. I wanna ride ganyan. Ganon ako before from the US to here na zero. Parang, oh my God, ibang system. So I consider it, I'm back to zero. Mm-hmm. Yan, na-build niya yung confidence ko. So mamaya, EDSA nung una, I was like,
EDSA, nako.
ano to, EDSA?
With all the
So
trucks.
S-Lex for the first time. Ako parang, mama, why am I? Iba yung environment ng streets talaga.
How big is the collective now? Like, how many people do you have already?
There's around 20 of us. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, it's hard to put them together for rides. Some of them also ride with other groups. Mm-hmm. And some of them also are outside Manila for gigs as well. In fact, when I was in La Union, I met one of our own Litas who's now based there.
Wow, okay.
So, and hindi na nga riding ang nangyari. Naging skateboarding na. So, it was fun. It was fun.
Are you part of any like motorcycle collectives na mixed? So it's not just yung Litas, di ba? It's all women. So are you part of any collective or any group that's mixed? May women, may men.
I think I casually just joined in to other groups naman. Nomadic na. Okay, come with. Okay, sige, game. Ganun naman. Although I have to admit lately, hindi ako masyado nakapag-ride kasi napagod ako from the last shoot, and then I just value my sleep so much more right now.
I get you. Totally get you.
Parang ride 7 a.m.
Usually Sundays, right?
Yeah. Kasi walang traffic.
Walang traffic.
Mahirap mag-adulting.
Mahirap mag-adulting. Like last Sunday, actually, kakabalik ko lang from La Union. So 4 hours, I'm like, oh my God, I just wanna sleep.
Wala nang energy.
Wala na. Gusto ko na lang matulog.
As we're talking about like you exploring your identity, I also want to remind our listeners na let's say whatever you identify as, whether that's straight, gay, lesbian, bi, or any other identity, ano rin siya, spectrum din siya, diba? Like not all lesbians are ganito, not all lesbians are ganito. So like in your case, you just happen to be a lesbian woman who likes to ride motorcycles and likes cars. But what do you think about yourself being this type of woman na yung stereotype is pag butch ganito ganyan, you know what I mean?
Oh my God. This one, the stereotype.
Yes.
Ano bang stereotype? Out of curiosity, from your perspective, I just want to see.
So I have unlearned or tried to unlearn like stereotypes of what gay men, for example, or lesbian women are supposed to be. But you also have this idea na parang if you're more butch presenting, mas ganito. Whereas if you're more femme presenting, parang ganito, right?
Okay.
So like if you're more femme presenting, you're not into
You mean like the
masculine
exterior, like itsura, sa galaw?
Yeah, maybe
Yes.
yung galaw or like
Interest,
let's say,
I think.
interest.
Oo.
Like for
Interest.
example, I am a casual follower of the WNBA. And
Hey.
maraming lesbians in the WNBA. And some of them are medyo butch presenting and some of them not so much.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
a lot of them are actually LGBT.
Yeah.
Yun. So parang ganun.
May stereotypes ba dati? Oo. Ngayon, hindi na eh. I don't think so. I mean, of course, you still see that, no, yung sinasabi mong stereotype, kung ano yung butch, kung ano yung femme. I think right now it's much more, or it always has been anyway, I
Varied.
believe, more diverse, more fluid. Mm-mm. And some people would ask, ikaw, ano ka ba? Guy ka ba, girl? I'm like, babae. That like loves women. So, ano ka, guy? So, walang ganun eh. So, I think there's still that belief na may guy or may babae.
Like you should be shoehorned into either one of these.
Yeah. Which I guess before yun yung ano, I think that's slowly fading away naman right now.
I don't know if it's appropriate, but I think it's people's way of asking parang top or bottom, right? Which,
Yeah.
Which I don't know if that's even appropriate to ask.
Di naman.
And this is coming from a place of curiosity on my end.
Yeah. I get you. Top or bottom. Di ko nga alam kung may ganong term for the lesbians. Ang alam ko yung top
For
and
gay
bottom
men.
is for...
Oo.
Yeah. That's what I know. So,
Yeah.
I haven't encountered that question, top or bottom. Siguro yung tanong na kung sino yung guy sa inyo. I think that's the closest.
The closest, no?
I believe so.
Does that offend you when you get asked that question?
I believe that you shouldn't get offended because some of them do not know. And it's I always find it as the best opportunity to slowly explain to them na, oh, it's like this, it's not like that, there's no male, female. There's usually that the dynamic doesn't isolate it to just, so who's the guy, who's the girl?
Right,
Walang
yes.
ganon. So I find it as a good opportunity to let them know how it is rather, no. But of course you can't find it offensive kasi sino pang magtatanungan nila?
Yeah.
Diba? So yeah,
Which leads me to another question that I just remembered right now because I have a college batchmate na lesbian siya. And I asked her, so how do you approach somebody that you're interested? And this is just out of curiosity.
Oh my
I ask that question every single time. Kasi how would you know, diba? Let's say, yun nga, sabi ni Stan, some are more femme presenting, some are more butch, mas brusco sila. So, yung sagot niya sa akin.
gusto ko yung tanong na to.
Okay, kasi I don't know if it's appropriate or not. I asked her, and then yung sagot niya sa akin that time was, she'll just flirt with everyone. Tapos kung sino daw nag-respond, eto. Parang ganon. So I don't know how it's like for you.
Modern day gentlewoman.
Okay.
That's on her profile, by the way.
Yeah,
on
okay.
Instagram.
Very much so.
Nice.
Wow. It is hard. Especially on my end. Because I believe na I wouldn't put another woman in a very awkward position. So sometimes I believe all you have to do is ask. With respect.
Okay.
Na, syempre, I mean, hindi naman porke nag-uusap kayo, may agenda na, di ba? Huwag naman feeling, grabe ka naman. Pero, you know, over time, I was like, would you like to go out for dinner? Or ganyan? Or just like, would you like to go out on a date? Ganon. It's a different, siguro iba lang yung style ko talaga. I don't wanna put the women in a very awkward position or in a very uncomfortable position ever, because I've seen how some of them become comfortable. It doesn't, and I'm not really happy with that. Of course, I don't want that. Na they're placed in a very awkward position.
Right.
And of course, personal mission to change the stereotype. Yes.
As we wind down here, I want to touch on a few points that we mentioned at the top of the recording, which is how generally there is a lack of representation for lesbian women in Philippine mainstream media. And usually it's reserved for like a scandalous storyline, diba? Or you know, over the rise of yung mga adult streaming services natin, di ba? Yung parang pang steamy films lang, di ba? So, what can you say about that? Yung parang, the reason why, kunwari, someone like myself who's a straight has so many questions is because there's just not a lot of representation about from lesbian women. What do you think about that?
I think we're at, I wouldn't say early stages of learning, but I think the Philippine setting rather is more tolerant and kaizen, a little better every day.
Okay.
Like one step at a time. And it's okay. It's okay. Any progress is still progress, right? But I do get what you mean. There's always that they're being caged into a certain category now where you can see them, right? I think we all need to slowly look past the identity and see the person as a person, regardless of how they identify themselves as. You know, it's how you are as a person at the end of the day, right?
So, on that note, for the Tsinoy community naman, because we're so notorious for being such eloquent, such an eloquent community when it comes to our feelings and our thoughts. And I say that with utmost sarcasm.
Yes. I was like about to say, yes, sarcasm is so strong in this one.
How can we as a community, tayong mga Tsinoy, be better allies to, not just lesbians, but everyone in the LGBTQ plus rainbow?
How?
Yeah, or like what thoughts, what words can we begin to unlearn? Kasi it's not helping. It doesn't help us become good allies.
I think this needs to go beyond LGBT. I'd like to drive it to that direction. It's beyond just LGBT.
By all means, yeah.
In the harsh world today, be kind to one another. I think that's what we need to do. Be there to protect and help one another. I believe it should go beyond the gender identity or the race. So it's gonna. I'm not sure if you're gonna cut this off. It's gonna sound a little bit DEI.
No, that's fine.
Go
Yeah,
right
it
ahead.
sounds a little bit more on the DEI side. It goes beyond it. It's not just the LGBT. It doesn't make you any less or any more as a person. Yun lang. So yeah, learn to be kinder to one another and have a more wider mindset of things. I believe it's going to be a slow learning process over time, for sure.
I like the Zen approach that you brought to that question. I guess I was expecting that you would single out certain terms or single out certain attitudes, but I think broadening the scope and making it more applicable to everyone is actually pretty inclusive, and I like that.
Thank you.
So we've talked about you being Tsinoy. We've also talked about you exploring your identity as a lesbian woman. But let's connect that to your career as a DJ. Kasi being a DJ, ang daming lalaki. Like more male DJs than female DJs.
Yeah.
What more a lesbian woman who also just happens to be a club DJ? How did you navigate those circles?
So yes, you're right. Being a DJ, club DJ or festival or whatever DJ is very much so male dominated. So what more babae? May smaller section, tas lesbian. Even smaller,
Even
right?
smaller.
How do I navigate about that? I just went with it, but I think it did drive me to do better. Na every set has to be, I try to make my sets as much as from the heart as possible, as raw as possible. Like raw with what I feel would be great for the crowd. I try. I've learned recently that I will always treat every set I play as my last.
Pero hindi ba parang nakaka-pressure siya? Kasi what I got from your answer is, dahil babae ako, I have to be better. And then because I'm also representing lesbian women, I have to be even better. Did it come across to you as pressure?
Nung una, hindi. But now that you mentioned, parang nga, no, parang andun yung gusto ko makapag-represent ng maayos, ng maganda na it's not just because I'm like this, kaya ko din.
But is that unfair? Or do you think that unfair? Kasi diba if ako, lalaki ako, I decide to become a club DJ, I'll be like every other male club DJ out there, and if I'm great, I'm great. If I suck, I suck, whatever.
I also believe there's another angle to it that I see and hear that some people mention. No, the pag female DJ, it also has something to do with the packaging.
Yes. I was about to ask about that because a lot of the female DJs I see now on IG, halos lagi naka-bikini top when they're
They
spinning.
look so nice. I mean, nakaka-insecure kaya. Oh, parang ano ginagawa ko dito?
What do you think about that? The whole packaging of it all. Since nabanggit mo na rin.
Sana ganun din ako kaganda. Diba? Di ko rin. Galing. But, I think that it might be controversial, but yes, I think that also has a huge advantage. I believe that has a huge advantage. Definitely. Malaking bagay yun. But I believe the talent will be there. But this one will definitely be an edge.
Said Kim, any other questions for Cal?
And this is the last one. Also makes me curious then. Is there any, since you're a part of a lot of mga collectives like Litas, you also have a lot of hobbies. I see like you're into like watches as well.
Oh my God.
That's
another episode.
But is there
That makes me blush. Oh.
is there a group for mga Tsinoy LGBTs? I'm really curious kung meron bang ganun. Not just mga lesbian, everybody.
Parang dapat
Wala
yata,
pa?
dapat yata maging Transformers ako, no? Parang to all the other ones out there, the all sparks. Ayan. Kung meron out there, find me. I'd love to get in touch. Let's try to build a community together. That would be awesome. Diba? It doesn't have to be just Tsinoy, but
Yes. A safe
I guess
space.
you're right. That
Yeah.
safe space, that
Safe space,
representation. I think that we need that. We need that because I think some of them are uncomfortable and safe space here, please.
On that note, if they want to engage with you or chat with you on social media and just bounce around some thoughts, kind of like how we, got to bounce our thoughts around over the last half year or so, where can people find you, Cal?
I'm on Instagram, Cal Soesanto, and the spelling's a little bit complicated, but yeah, IG Cal Soesanto. That's it. I'm not on Facebook. Yeah.
All right. So we're gonna post Cal's social media handle
Yep.
dito sa ano natin, episode description. And do you have any upcoming gigs for the month of March or throughout the summer that you'd like to promote so our listeners can catch you, be part of the energy that you put out there when you're spinning?
Since I just got back from La Union, which is a mind-blowing gig. It was so fun kasi I haven't played in 2 years. That was the first time I played for wala palang signal. Ayun. Well, there's one, I'm trying to take it one day at a time. Some gigs I would randomly just get very last minute. So right now everything's up in the air, so I can't really say anything yet. Yeah. But definitely there will be gigs coming up. I feel there's one more that I'll be going back to La Union for.
All right. So
In May, I believe.
Okay.
ayun,
May
so
reunion.
just follow Cal on Instagram and you'll get to check that out. On our end naman, if you want to follow the show, it's at Now Steaming Podcast on Facebook and Instagram. For all of your messages, we really appreciate all of the feedback you send our way. And if it doesn't take up too much of your time, please leave a 5-star rating and follow the podcast as well on Spotify. Individually, it is @_Stancy for me.
That's at Kimberly Mass for me, and for both me and Sed, we also do like our comics, which we mentioned in previous episodes as well. That's at So Asian Comics, and for Sed individually, you can find him.
You can find me on Instagram at Cedric C. Cheng, and I'm also the one who replies to your messages in our Now
There you
Steaming
go.
page.
Now you know.
All right. So as we end this episode, thank you again, Cal Soesanto, for joining us here on
Thank
the
you for
podcast.
having me.
Really
Thank you for
fun
having me.
kwentuhan here, and thank you for helping us sort through yung mga questions namin because it's we don't get this type of opportunity to talk about these types of things every week on the
Yep.
show. And on behalf of our listeners, thank you for being very generous with your time, Sam.
Thank you for having me.
And-
Appreciate it.
As we end this episode of the podcast, once again, we'd like to remind everyone na hindi lahat ng Tsinoy
Kailangan sumunod sa lahat ng expectations.
Thank you for listening to Now Steaming. Now Steaming is hosted by Stan C, Kimberly Mas, and Cedric Cheng. Ronel Cheng is our writer and researcher. Our show is produced, mixed, edited, and mastered by the Pod Network.
The The opinions of podcast creators, hosts, and guests are not necessarily reflective of the official stance of the Pod Network Entertainment, its hosts, or other network programs. The content created by the people behind the podcast is personal and not meant to harm any religion, ethnicity, group, organization, company, or individual.